Today on Investigate TV Plus, with the American dream of homeownership seemingly out of reach, two friends find their smartest investment is with each other.
Could either of you have afforded this home on your own?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
We take an in-depth look at a housing trend that experts say could rewrite the rules of real estate.
Plus, preying on those who pray.
Someone targeting a church, I don't think it gets lower than that. I really don't. God bless them.
We examine the scam targeting people of faith.
Then, one city's inspiring display of resilience more than a decade after disaster.
The storm forever changed you.
Yes, absolutely.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
Whether you dream of a house with a white picket fence, big backyard, or even a pool, owning a home is still part of the American dream. I'm Tisha Pell.
And I'm Lee Zurich, but high mortgage rates, skyrocketing prices, and housing shortages have made it a nightmare for many. A 2024 survey found more than half of aspiring homeowners say their income isn't high enough to afford a down payment and closing costs. And that has some trying a non-traditional approach.
Reporter Heather Graff explains the growing trend of co-buying, in which people are teaming up with a friend to close the deal on their new home.
We've all heard the saying, friends are the family you choose.
We went to Columbia in New York.
And that's certainly true for Samantha Simpson and Angel Wachuku,
That was 2016.
who went from classmates to best friends, and in the years that followed, they became travel buddies, roommates, and even business partners with a shared YouTube page.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Hey y'all.
So when the pair began considering home ownership in their late 20s, they decided it just made sense to buy a house together as well.
Literally, there just wasn't anyone else I thought of that I could trust besides probably my parents.
And yeah, I think we're just like good friends and we trusted each other.
Samantha and Angel, seen here, getting the keys to a 4-bedroom row house they now co-own in Washington, D.C.
Split everything down the middle.
Split everything down the middle.
That's right.
Could either of you have afforded this home on your own?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. Once you buy a home, that's one expense, and then there are other expenses that come up with like a house and things that you don't expect, and having someone to split that cost with has been amazing.
And that decision to co-own is not as rare as you might think. According to Bankrate, 1 in 10 millennial homeowners has purchased a home with a friend. Zillow is also tracking this, and in 2023 found 14% of home buyers did so with a friend, many of those citing affordability as their reason for co-buying.
Certainly, if you have two incomes, then you can save for a down payment easier.
Jessica Louts is the National Association of Realtors Deputy Chief Economist and Vice President of Research, and she expects co-buying among friends and with people other than a spouse to become even more common moving forward.
When you consider that there are 3 offers right now for every home that's listed, you want to have a competitive offer out there. So perhaps as a dual income, that's putting down the bigger down payment than you would have been able to as a single buyer.
I imagine it also comes with some potential risks though. What's the downside?
I would definitely say that any realtor that I've talked to about this may be getting an attorney involved so that you can make sure that if you're putting in 50-50 on that home, if you walked away from that relationship, who owns what?
For instance, what happens if one of the co-buyers gets married or has to move or even passes away? Exactly how will costs be split? Even who gets the bigger bedroom? Experts recommend co-buyers set ground rules up front and put everything in writing to prevent conflict later on.
We wanted to have equal everything. So there had to be 2 rooms that were the same size, 2 bathrooms, all those kind of things.
What makes Angel and Samantha's situation perhaps a bit unique is that they're both lawyers. So when it came to discussing legal implications of their joint purchase, they were fully prepared.
I think it made it a lot easier because there were just some things that we just understood.
But for other hopeful homeowners who perhaps don't have that expertise, this trend has also led to the creation of companies like NestMit, CoBuy, and Paradigm that aim to guide people through the co-buying process.
When people think about co-ownership, it's a great idea, but it sounds scary and complicated.
Joe Hoppus is the CEO and co-founder of Paradigm, based in Washington State, but says they've worked with co-buyers across the country, answering questions and helping clients draft written agreements or property prenups that they can then take to an attorney for final review.
It's maintenance, repairs, insurance claims, you name it, we've covered it.
Do you think that co-ownership is the future?
I do. You can't fight pricing. It's too big, it's too complex. You can't fight interest rates. So to unite resources, it's the only way for most people to get in the market and get that, start building that equity and generational wealth.
As for these co-buyers,
We buy a house.
Angel and Samantha moved into their DC home in 2021,
We wanted to show you guys the fire pit that we got.
renovated it, and lived there together for a little over a year.
This is actually a new front door.
But when a new job opportunity moved Samantha out of state, per their agreement, Angel moved out of the house too, and they now use it as a rental and investment property.
It was like, okay, it's time, and we had prepared for it. We both are very, kind of business minded. Yeah. And so it was like, oh, this is an opportunity to make it a vacation rental. And so it was a positive experience.
Still best friends who plan to hold on to that house as co-owners for as long as they both feel it makes sense.
I think you have to be on the same page with at least 75% of things.
Yeah.
At least 75% of things.
Would you do it again?
I
Yeah,
would.
for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It was a great decision.
The National Association of Realtors says friends buying homes together is not the only co-ownership trend that's on the rise. Its 2024 Home Buyers and Sellers Report found an increase in what's known as multi-generational purchases. That's when families buy a home together and split the mortgage, such as a younger relative partnering with an aging parent or grandparent.
The NAR says the reason for this type of co-buying is often about not just cost savings, but also creating a space for people to care for elderly loved ones.
Still ahead, dads on duty. We reveal the idea that welcomes father figures to the classroom.
But first, fraudsters go after houses of worship and their members.
In all of the churches that I've served, this has happened, every single one. It's just gotten a lot more frequent now.
We show you the warning signs to avoid this sinful scam. According to the Federal Trade Commission, in 2024, Americans lost $12.5 billion to fraud. The number one type of fraud that year involved imposters or scammers pretending to be someone they're not.
The FTC says scammers typically pose as tech support workers or pretend to represent a government agency.
We found some scammers are even targeting people's faith by posing as pastors.
Reporter Cassidy Williams spoke to a congregation that nearly got conned and explains the warning signs.
Built in 1744, the Kensington Congregational Church has been through hundreds of seasons of giving. But with time and new technology, scammers are using that generosity to cash in.
I kept getting emails from some of my congregants saying, "What's the matter? What do you need?"
Pastor Holly Norwick says she started getting confusing messages. That's because many of her parishioners received texts like this one. The scammers were posing as her and asking for help writing.
"I need to get Apple gift cards today for some woman battling cancer in the hospital, but I can't do that right now because of my busy schedule. Can you get it from any nearby store now?"
But Norwick didn't send that message.
In all of the churches that I've served, this has happened, every single one. It's just gotten a lot more frequent now.
So how did the scammers get the names and numbers for Norwick's congregation? The day prior, office manager Kim Lawrence got an email from whom she thought was the music director asking for the church directory. Lawrence later realized it wasn't actually the music director she emailed the directory to.
I think that someone targeting a church, I don't think it gets lower than that. I really don't. God bless them.
Lawrence quickly contacted the congregation to let them know not to buy the gift cards, and she's working on changing their website to make it harder to find people's emails. They want to warn other churches and congregations to have their guard up.
They put in the email that they're busy for a reason, that they don't want to call, they just want a quick text. Ignore that piece and call.
Because sometimes old school communication is the best way to make sure your offerings end up in the right hands.
While this kind of con is novel, it's not new. We found instances of this happening in states from Missouri to South Carolina, Indiana, and Wisconsin. In 2019, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton issued an alert after churches throughout the state reported this type of scam.
Still ahead, from fearing for your life
Honestly, I thought we were going to die.
to fighting for your community.
So they don't have the same experience that I did.
We'll explore how a town recovered from its darkest days and the emotions that came along the way.
But first, we reveal the key to your child's academic success, what experts say parents can do right now to help set up their child for success.
Many parents want to do everything they can to ensure their child's success in school.
Experts say for decades, researchers have pointed to one key success factor: parental involvement. According to the Annie E. Casey Foundation, students whose parents stay involved in school have better attendance and behavior, get better grades, and demonstrate better social skills. In an effort to get more parents involved in their child's academics, an Arizona school is trying something new.
Reporter Jason Berry takes us to the campus where you'll find a group of dedicated dads.
You know what I normally do? I go row by row.
They help out in the classroom.
Oh, you gotta put your feet up.
Keep an eye on kids at the playground.
There we go.
It's hard to miss those guys wearing bright yellow shirts at Norterra Canyon School in North Phoenix.
When you walk on campus and you see the sea of yellow shirts, you just get excited to see how they're helping kids.
This pre-K through 8 school in the Deer Valley School District is the first in Arizona to launch the Watchdogs, an innovative program designed to get more dads, granddads, uncles, and other father figures involved in their kids' education.
She swallowed the pencils to write on the paper.
In years past, it's been mostly moms stepping up to volunteer. But with more dads having flexible schedules and working from home, there's more time to help out at school.
I think the biggest thing is fathers didn't have a path to volunteer, so having the Watchdogs here really opens up a path to make it easier to know how to volunteer and get involved.
I have stickers today. Do you want a sticker today?
Anthony Esparza tells us about 30 men are currently volunteering, rotating every week, going wherever they're needed. He says having the extra eyes and ears on campus enhances school safety while helping to reduce bullying.
It's important that they see the students see the presence and throughout the school and understand that when they see somebody, a dad or a father figure wearing the yellow shirt, you know, it's somebody they can trust and it's a positive role model that they can look up to.
School officials insist these dads have already made a difference, boosting kids' confidence and improving test scores.
The kids laugh with them, the teachers laugh with them. Just the vibe is very positive and exciting on campus when they're here.
As for how you can get involved in your child's education right now, the Annie E. Casey Foundation suggests you read with them, help with homework, and discuss school events.
Still ahead.
Did you think that the worst was behind you?
No, I did not.
A story of survival for one city that went through the unthinkable.
I think we kind of established a template here.
How its tornado tragedy is now helping other disaster zones recover.
With this medical mythbuster moment, I'm Viv Williams. Sugar substitutes are found in foods marketed to kids, so they must be safe. Well, experts at Nemours Children's Health say sugar substitutes can be safe, but for some kids, they should be off limits. A Nemours online article notes that aspartame and sucralose, 2 sugar substitutes used in the manufacturing of some foods, have been found to be safe for some kids in small amounts, but only if those kids are getting the nutrients they need from other foods. Unlike real sugar, the article states sugar substitutes aren't absorbed by our bodies, turned into energy, and used. To help you figure out if sugar substitutes are safe for your kids, Nemours has these guidelines. Babies and kids under 2 should not have sugar substitutes. Kids 2 or older may have sugar substitutes as long as they're eating a well-balanced diet. Nemours suggests kids have no more than 6 to 8 ounces of foods or beverages containing sugar substitutes per day. Kids 2 or older with diabetes may have sugar substitutes if their healthcare providers say it's okay. Kids with a rare metabolic disease called phenylketonuria, or PKU, should never consume sugar substitutes. People with PKU don't have an enzyme that breaks down aspartame, so it can build up in the body, causing serious health problems, including brain damage. With this medical mythbuster moment, I'm Viv Williams.
It's a weather event known to leave devastation in its wake. According to the National Weather Service, each year about 1,200 tornadoes hit the U.S.
In 2011, a destructive and deadly tornado changed a small city forever.
14 years later, reporter Kristen Crowley visited Joplin, Missouri to see how the community rebuilt stronger than ever.
For a town founded in 1873, Joplin seems newer than most of its Missouri counterparts.
It was like boom, boom, boom.
With a modern high school campus next to a manicured football field showcasing Eagle pride.
Progress, just like left and right.
Maintained flower-lined streets.
Businesses kind of being reestablished.
And rows of contemporary buildings and houses. But among them starts to appear a visual reminder of the day that changed everything in Joplin.
Your trampoline and your swing set was right here.
This is more than an empty lot for the Stout family.
I think you spent the most time rolling down that hill, though.
This is a place that brings back the memories of when their lives were torn apart.
That's where Mom's car ended up on top of.
Their home once stood here until May 22nd, 2011, when Joplin was hit by an EF5 tornado.
The sirens started. In true Midwest fashion, my husband went outside to go look to see what he could see. So I yelled at Shane to come inside, and I told him I wanted to drag the mattress off of our son's bed. He rolled his eyes at me because we've never, ever did anything like that.
Under that mattress, the family took cover in a hallway.
Instantly ripped the roof off of our house.
What was going through your head when you saw the roof peel away?
Honestly, I thought we were going to die.
161 people were killed. 8,000 buildings damaged.
And I just remember like looking up at one point and just like seeing him kind of get like sucked up.
I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and he was trying to hold the mattress down on all of us.
When the tornado passed,
it was just mass chaos.
Their home looked like this, but they were safe.
That was my main prayer anyway, just a protection, like I say, for the family.
Today, it's hard to tell disaster ever struck, but the signs are there. Here at Cunningham Park, you'll find memorials of that day, not just reminding people what was lost, but what was found. Strength, resilience, and the power of the human spirit.
There's a 38-segment water wall symbolizing the minutes the tornado was on the ground. These black frame sculptures invoking feelings of what's now missing from Joplin. And this monument that solely reads hope. A simple word that can be a great place for a new beginning.
How does it feel being back?
It's good.
This is where we met CJ Huff.
Things still changing since you left?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Joplin's always been one of those communities that has been pretty progressive.
He took us on a tour of his former life.
This is the new Irving Elementary School. This is where the old high school would have sat.
Huff was the superintendent of Joplin schools.
Did you know anybody, any children who passed?
Yeah. Children, staff both, and a lot of good people, a lot of kids with a tremendous amount of potential. Yeah.
It was graduation day when the springtime tornado hit.
I was hearing from a lot of staff members and community members, will we ever be able to open school again?
Despite several schools being destroyed, Huff and his team set an ambitious goal: reopen for the planned fall start date in August.
We got it done.
After you got the schools open on time, did you think that the worst was behind you?
No, I did not. I was tired. Everybody was tired. When I left in July 2015, I was wore out.
Do you think you would have still been in that job had the disaster not happened?
I would still be superintendent of schools in Joplin right now, I think.
He thought he would get back into education.
The more I tried to push myself that way, the more I kept getting pulled back into disaster recovery work, because anytime there was a disaster that happened anywhere in the country, somebody was calling and say, hey, can you help us out?
Huff answered that call.
So I do a lot of coaching for school leaders who have been through disasters and community leaders too.
Becoming an advisor to numerous recovery responses from Hurricane Harvey to the Lahaina wildfire.
Trying to support leaders to help them continue to do the job that they love so that they don't have the same experience that I did.
I think we kind of established a template here, one that everybody hopes they don't have to use.
When disaster like this happens, there is an immediate, natural longing for life to return to the way it used to be.
Then right off over here is where the detached garage was.
The way it was every day before the tornado.
And then the fence that came to the backyard.
Storm survivors like the Stout family will tell you it won't.
The storm forever changed you.
Yes, absolutely.
But by facing the fate of unwanted winds of change, Joplin shows there can be healing when you have hope on your side.
I'm very proud of Joplin and what we did. I think that we learned every step of the way.
Wow, what a story of resilience. I think it's important to just remember to keep looking forward. As much as you mourn for what's behind you, keep looking forward.
And I think the message, the father there was worried about the safety of his, family, and then everything else will get rebuilt eventually. And it looks great. The sound looks great right now. It really does look great. All right, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm T. Chappelle. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus, every time utility crews break ground, they risk unearthing a disaster.
We found gas line strikes are on the rise, which can cause explosions.
You're just kind of the belief this is going to happen. People are going to dig.
Yep.
And gas lines are going to get hit.
Yep.
We uncover how these accidents are tied to a critical technology expansion and examine the efforts to keep you safe.